Phoenix family, welcome back to another episode of the podcast. My name's Marley. Unfortunately no April today because she is sick, but that's all good. I've got a bunch in store for you today. We got some reviews, some previews, got some QSL news, so let's get into it. Alright, first up we've got our reviews from the past round. It was Phoenix versus Northside at Northside Indoor Stadium. It's on a Saturday night. If you made the trip down, good job. We'll start off with the women's. The women's lost 79-80, so a 1 point loss for the women's, which is disappointing because we could have won. We had the lead for majority of the game, but Northside pulled away just at the end. We were missing Izzy Palmer, but they were missing Kalijah Dean, so that's two of the highest scorers for both teams missing. So for Phoenix, Emma Pove took the starting role. Looking at the game, the Phoenix were quite reliant on their starters, so only I think 2 points came from the bench for the Phoenix, which isn't a bad thing necessarily, but it just shows that we were looking for our starters a lot more than our bench. In that first quarter, the Phoenix gave up quite a bit of points just from turnovers and sloppy play. You know, there's a couple times where we just weren't looking where the ball was and there's an open three in the corner, or we just turned the ball over because of a bad pass. So I think the first quarter really let the Phoenix down, even though they were in the lead. And then the last quarter, dealing with pressure, we kind of fumbled a bit. But apart from that, the Phoenix played pretty good. Looking at some player stats, we have Erin Bowman putting in 26 points, 9 rebounds, 11 assists, 3 steals, 2 blocks on 40 minutes played. So she didn't come off once. She basically played the whole game and she put in a near triple-double. She was 1 rebound off. But that's quite an MVP performance from Erin, and it's good to see from her. Maya Price had 20 points, 10 rebounds, and 2 steals. So great game from Maya. She's really coming into a role for the Phoenix, and it's great to see. Hopefully she can keep this going for the second half of the season. And finally we have Kayla Matthews. He had 16 points and a steal. So great game for Kayla. And scoring wise, on the other team we had Grace Ellis putting up 25 points and 14 rebounds. She really stood up in the absence of Kalijah, and I think 7 of those 14 rebounds were offensive. So once again she had quite a few rebounds, like she got it in that first round against us. But overall, I don't think the Phoenix played horribly, but I think they could have played better for sure. Looking at the men's, we had a win by 4, 84-80. No Nelson Carla on that night because he is currently playing for Malta in the 3v3 competition. So Liam Switzer took the starting role coming off of his college season and a couple games back into the lineup. It was a poor start from Phoenix. The Northside Wizards had a 15-0 run in that first quarter, but we did manage to bring it back over the next 3 quarters, outscoring Northside in all 3 of those quarters. Looking at the Phoenix during the game, they were doing anything possible to keep the ball out of Quinton Dove's hands. We all know he's lethal from outside and in, so it was hard for us to keep him out, and he ended up having 41 points, which is over half of Northside's points. Looking at the stats, Northside were very poor from 3, shooting under 30%, and I think that's what really exposed them on the night. But looking at our side, we were fairly efficient, and we had Jamal Robideau putting in 20 points. Ernest Ross had 16 points and 11 rebounds. Darnell had 17 points, 5 rebounds, and 4 assists. So those are the 3 majors, and as well as that, Eric had double digits as well. So overall, good game from both men's and women's for the Phoenix, but unfortunately the women's going to come away with the win. Alright, now we've got our game preview. So, for the upcoming round, Phoenix are versing Southwest Metro Pirates, and this is an interesting one. So, we have on Saturday night, Hibiscus Stadium, 5 and 7 o'clock. The Pirates women, they're in 9th place, but are coming off 2 wins in a row. So they're on a hot streak. Hopefully Phoenix can end that streak. looking at some of their players, they've got Hannah Cemental having 15.33 points per game and 3.8 assists per game, as well as 4.33 rebounds a game. So Hannah is definitely their main scorer, and she's one to look out for. Then we have Charlotte Whitaker having 11.22 points per game, 2.11 assists per game, and 5.56 rebounds a game. So she's their second option, and she is lethal from pretty much anywhere. Then finally we have Stephanie Bairstow, their centre, who is averaging 10 points per game and 9.2 rebounds a game. So I think it'll be a very tough matchup for Maya Price against Stephanie, but we'll see what happens. Looking at the men's is interesting because the Southwest Metro Pirates are in last place, and they've only gotten one win, which is the last round. But they've signed Flynn Cameron, who is an NBL star. He's averaged 11 points, 3 assists, and 4 rebounds in the last NBL season. Flynn's this tough lefty. He can shoot, he can get to the rack, so expect a matchup with Eric Fritz most likely. So Eric will probably get the matchup, if not maybe Ernest. But Flynn's got a bit of height on him, so it'll be interesting to see what the Phoenix do with that. As well as Flynn, also watch out for Dominic Keys. He's the Pirates' second option, and he was holding it down for Flynn before Flynn got there. He's averaging 11.83 points per game and 10.5 rebounds a game, as well as 1.3 steals a game. So he's an athletic big that can get to the rack, and he scores majority of his points inside. So both games pretty compelling. Definitely give it a watch on the NBL One website. It's also game of the week, so if you don't want to watch it on the NBL One website, it's also a KO freebie, so check it out on KO Sports as well. Finally, guys, we have our QSL news. So there is no NBL One home game this weekend, but that's not a problem, because we have the QSL women's and men's playing at Noosa Leisure Centre, home of the Noosa Cyclones, on Saturday night at 5 and 7 o'clock. We are playing Brisbane Capitals, women at 5, men at 7. There's no cost for entry, so feel free to just come, free admission, come in, have a watch. Our QSL women sit in second position on the ladder, behind the Capitals, who we're versing. We have 9 wins, 2 losses. They have 10 wins, 1 loss. With only 5 rounds left, these teams appear to be the front runners for the grand final. So this is basically watching the grand final before the grand final happens. The women's game tips off at 5 p.m. with our own Noosa Cyclones under 10s and under 12 girls playing at halftime. I'm now going to read out the team roster from last week. So might not necessarily be the same roster, but it'll be at least similar. So we have Bonnie Buttsworth at centre, Indy Lawrence at guard, Layla McAuliffe at guard, Hayley Cotter at forward, Olive Dull as a forward/centre, Grace Rogers at centre, Millie Willocks at guard, Zoe Drain at guard, Chelsea Juan at guard, and Katie Graves at guard as well. So obviously exciting young players coming through for the Phoenix, and it'll be great to see them play at Noosa Leisure Centre. Now, looking at the men, both teams are in the cusp of the playoffs, so they're almost there. They have identical win-loss records, and they're heading into this weekend's round. The men's tip off at 7 p.m. with our own Cyclones under 10s and under 12 boys playing at halftime. Make sure you get in early for a park. We're going to have Dave on the court announcing. I'm going to be doing the DJing like the NBL One games. There's going to be music pumping. Hopefully we can get a big crowd in to rev up the Phoenix. But yeah, free admission, guys. Get down there for sure. Have a look. It's going to be good. Alright, finally we have our outro, guys. So that's it for today's episode. Unfortunately, it's a bit shorter one because there's no April and we didn't get an interview in, but that's all good. Thank you guys for listening. Come back next week as we give our reviews and previews, and we're also going to try and get in a couple of interviews, so look out for that. If you want to contact us, we can email us at phxfastbreak@outlook.com. or you can see us on Instagram, Facebook, YouTube. That's all for today, guys. Thanks. Phoenix Fast Break out.